Hi there, boys and girls. My name's Kay Kraft. I'm going to be doing a test today, a sound test on 3 separate Kay Kraft guitars. I host Facebook's Kay Kraft Guitars page. And if you have any questions after you finish watching this video, you come over there and ask me some questions. I'll give you some answers. This particular guitar is a 1933 14 fret arch top round sound hole guitar. All of the Kay Kraft guitars, all of these 2-point guitars, so there's one and there's two, all of these 2-point guitars have some similarities and some differences. This particular guitar has the famous neck to body joint, which was a slip joint, a style of a slip joint. I'm going to have a show you right here. So this black shim that's right here, and the neck is curved. There's a wing nut inside the guitar, and what you would do is you would go inside and you can adjust the angle, the break angle of the guitar. All of these 14 frets were amazingly badly designed bracing inside. The bracing on the 14 frets and the 12 frets are as different as night and day. This particular guitar has a horrible bracing pattern under the top. It looks like it was designed by an architect as opposed to being designed by an acoustic engineer. The guitars all suffer from in the sound department because of that. These guitars all had solid wood tops and plywood back and sides. Various woods. In the early days, they were making mahogany, rosewood, and maple guitars on the back and sides. All of them were plywood. They were the Kay guitars were the earliest company that was actually experimenting with plywood, and the reason for that was probably to prevent cracks and stuff. Who knows? But a lot of the guitars are very, very unusual. A number of the ones that I actually have bird's eye maple on the inside of the guitar and the inside ply, and on the outside it's mahogany or it's rosewood or it's something else. And what they were able to do at the factory was they were able to just turn a piece of plywood over and come up with a different model of the exact same guitar and sell it for more. So it was something that was done back then. So all of them have solid tops, induced arch top. So what they do is they'd arch the bracing and then they'd glue the flat piece of wood to that. All of these guitars are heavily in need of repair. If you're planning on buying one off of YouTube, be aware that when you get the guitar, it's very likely there's going to be a $300 to $600 repair job that's going to be needed on the guitars. No matter what the description says on eBay, almost all of them need repair. I've got 19 of these now, and there's only been 3 of them that have come into my hands that haven't needed repairs. And the reason they haven't needed repairs is because the guitars were the instruments were actually put in their cases, the strings taken off, and they were never ever played. So I'm going to hit a couple chords, and we're going to go from this 14 fret to another 14 fret, a much later model. All of these guitars that I'm playing all have dead strings, so take that into your computations. particular guitar I'm playing is a 1937, 1938, 1939, not quite sure. Kay Deluxe. So this is what Kay turned into. So the progression was Stromberg Voisinet made the very first 2-point guitars, 1 and 2. They made the very first ones in about 1927. They started pioneering the plywood thing like I was talking about. This particular guitar, by the time this guitar was made, they had stopped making the black shim things. So all of the guitars from the later dates, are all dovetail constructions like this. This guitar has a very pretty decal on the top, which is not super rare, but they only come up for sale every couple of years. I got this off of a friend in California. Here's the Kay Kraft, or the Kay Deluxe logo. This is a birch body. Most of the Kay Kraft guitars were birch. Made from birch after a certain period of time. I think around 1939, almost all of the guitars that they were making at the in the 2-point version were birch, and they were only making birch mandolins, and almost all of their instruments turned to birch for some reason. So just something that happens with these guitars. So the two guitars sounded quite a bit different, didn't they? The next guitar that I'm going to show to you here is a 12-fret Kay Kraft. I'm going to show you the headstock. They're very pretty headstocks. I love the headstocks on these guitars. Here's a set of Waverly machine heads, I should say. This particular guitar is from This guitar is from about 1937, and this is an actual 12-fret mahogany back and sides guitar. So plywood. One of the only ways you can actually tell the differences between these guitars, there's a couple of different things. One of them is a brace. The very early 2-point archtop guitars with the black shim in here. What happened? One of the ways to actually tell the differences in the ages is the actual labels that are inside the guitar. All of that information is over on my website. You check out the sway bridge. So that's what this style of bridge is actually called. That's called a sway bridge. Very interesting design. The 12-fret version of this guitar compared to the 14-fret, it's like the difference between night and day. This particular guitar has almost exactly, Martin style X bracing from the 30s. As a result, this archtop guitar with a trapeze tailpiece sounds an incredible amount like a Dreadnought. Out of all of them that I have, this is easily the best sounding one that I have. This guitar has been through the mill in a couple of different ways. When I got this guitar, the fretboard was completely destroyed on it, just because of age and really, really bad construction techniques at the factory. The guitars just turned, the fretboards just turned into something otherworldly. So I had to make a fingerboard for this guitar, and I have the templates, and I do all of that. I do all of that work myself. But I'm not here to do a commercial for my skills. I'm just telling you, this guitar has had a lot of work. So this guitar sounds an awful lot like a Dreadnought, and I'm pretty sure if I was to do a blind test with you guys with two separate guitars, you wouldn't be able to tell which was the Dreadnought and which was this one. So here is what this beauteous Martin style braced guitar sounds like. So the 12 frets and the 14 frets were kind of being made side by side. Nobody's quite sure what goes on with them. They were making them very, very early on. Some of them had the earliest guitars suffered from a lot more from structural problems up here in the neck joint, because they didn't. There's a in all of the later ones, there's a brace that goes almost from corner to corner up here, and it's called a bat brace, arched to the top, one big giant solid piece of wood, and it was meant to actually stop the guitar from the neck from rotating right into the body of the guitar, which happens with the very early ones a lot. I've done some repairs on some of them that are just take on nightmare qualities. All of the later ones have the bat brace that's up here. All of the later ones also have a little bit of a different label inside the guitars, and so it just tells you what the dates are. It gives you a pretty half decent idea what the dates are of these particular guitars. The headstocks are all the exact same shape for this particular style. Here's a set of beautiful original Waverly machine heads that are on these guitars. The mahogany necks, and anyway, this is easily the nicest sounding of all of the Kay Krafts that I have. This is easily the nicest sounding one and the one that gets the most played. And so anyway, if there's any questions, if you have any questions as to these guitars, please contact me on Facebook. So it's Kay Kraft Guitars, KayKraft Guitars on Facebook, and I'd be pleased to answer them. Thanks.